Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is the quest so far at the Sunday Chat. It's been another very busy week, hasn't it? I've been out, we've made some interesting films, and this is just my chance to catch up with you about the quest for England and where we're going, what we've been doing, and so on and so forth. So we started this week, if you missed it, the videos are still obviously available, with lovely Elizabeth Housden looking at her collection of children's books from the 30s and 40s and even some from the Victorian period. And they really summed up a quintessential English from times past. And of course, a lot of people were brought up on those books, and it was great to see the comments. I always love looking at the comments because that's where the real story is, and people adding to what we were talking about and some of the books that other people had been reading, which was absolutely fantastic. So big thanks to Liz for letting me pry into her private library, which was great fun. We also spoke to Andrew Norris, who's an Englishman who lives now abroad in Croatia. He's a great sport, and he came on the Bald Explorer walk. We were walking at St Leonard's Forest, and I had a chat with him because I wanted to get his perspective as an Englishman who now lives abroad, looking back. He'd been living there, I think, for something like 15 years, and I wanted to find out what his perspective was on England as it is now and the things that are happening to it. So we did a little walk. It was a bit squelchy, I have to confess, because we've had a lot of water, haven't we? We certainly have. So that was fascinating, though, to get his perspective on that. Talking of water, what was also interesting, met up with John Railton and Giles. Oh, I forget his surname. It's going to plague me. I'll put it up on the screen. Lovely chap from Pagham Harbour. And we went to have a look at the Canadian geese. Now, I think they're just about to migrate away, but they come over to Pagham and they feed there and they rest there, and there's a couple of fields that they like to get additional food from. And one of those fields, next to this very important nature site, is about to be developed, or at least that is the plan, 400 houses. And so John and a lot of the local people there are very worried about what that's going to do, not just to the Canadian geese or the Brent geese, but also to all other wildlife species once this area starts to become encroached with houses, which of course we're doing everywhere at the moment. Now, I know, there are those that say, but we need houses, and that's absolutely true. We do, but right next to an area of importance like that on a wild fowl trust, I don't know. But anyway, it was fantastic. Got some lovely footage of geese, I have to say, and it was great fun wading out on the as the tide was out there to get as close as we could. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I would like to get more nature filmed. I haven't got one of, you see these bird watchers with these amazingly long lenses. They're quite expensive. I haven't got one of those, unfortunately, but it would be fantastic to have one. And also, you need the patience to be in the right place at the right time so that you can get the footage. It doesn't just happen. But, it was nice to get what we did. So that was a bit of nature, an English nature, even if the birds are from another place. Amberley Church is another place that we went to, and I met up with lovely Cynthia Julian. Cynthia Julian, Mrs. Fix-It, as I call her, lovely lady. She's fixed up a whole load of places for me to go to last year, and I'm hoping that she's going to as well. We spoke to the priest in charge there, Jerry, at Amberley Church, and she told us about some fascinating and interesting things. And again, it's always interesting reading the comments, because some people say things like, oh, it was marvellous to, when you interview somebody who's knowledgeable about the subject and can tell you about it. And then other people say, oh, I found that I could have got that anywhere. I like it when you're a bit spontaneous and speculating. You may not know all the information, but you're trying to guess and work it out. And of course, the Bald Explorer has a bit of both. Where I can find experts who'll tell me about stuff, that's great. Where I can't, I'll go and just explore for myself. So we do our best to sort of keep happy both parties, if you see what I mean. Anyway, it's a lovely church in Amberley. Amberley itself is a fantastic village, very quintessential English, thatched cottages, but very few amenities there. There is the village shop, and I need to go back and walk around that area and take some of the lovely houses, get pictures of them and present that to you and show you more of that. And also the Wild Brooks, which I believe is a Sussex Wildlife Trust place, a great place for bird watchers with the long lens that I mentioned earlier. But we couldn't go there because it's absolutely flooded. We've had all this water and it's completely flooded, but it is slowly, assuming we don't get any more water, it is slowly dissipating, which is very handy. At the back of the church and in front of the brook there, the Wild Brook, is Amberley Castle. Now, I didn't go in the castle. It's a private hotel. I believe they do weddings. I think you can stay and, well, it's a hotel, so of course you can stay, but I think you can go in and have cups of tea and things like that. It is quite expensive from what I understand, but very posh, very nice. And if you're having a wedding, you can go from the church into the reception at the hotel, and it works really well. Well, the lovely Cynthia, Julian and I took a walk. There's a trail or a pathway at the rear, so you get a real sense of the curtain wall around it. You can have a look at the entrance gate, etc., but you can come round the back and take this wonderful little path. It's a very modest path, but you get some terrific views over to Houghton and the church there. And we took a little walk just up to the Network Railway line, which is the, I guess it's the, goes to Arundel and then up to London line. So it wasn't a very long one, but you get a fantastic look at the Wild Brooks, and also you could get onto the River Arun as well if you wanted to sort of continue it. So that was good. And Julia and I recorded a video after a couple of days of working out some sessions, some trips that we're going to be doing this year. I know we're in March now, but and it seems to be flying away very quickly. But we've got lots of exciting places to go, and we did a video about some of the places, and of course we're going on another canal trip, which we're very much looking forward to and hope that you are too, and we'll bring you more footage of that. And we were just making our case, I suppose, to try and get a little bit of help on funding these so that we can work hard on the videos and bring them to you. Because that's what we love to do, and we know from our growing subscriptions, which we're nearly at 9,000 people who have subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps get the videos out, and if we can get more patrons on board, then we can keep bringing you more videos, which is very much what we're trying to do. Today, which is Saturday, as I record this for Sunday, for the Sunday chat, I've just come back from seeing Kim Murden, the herbalist lady. Now you may remember I've made a couple of videos with her. Well, as you know, and it's everywhere, isn't it? People are talking about the coronavirus and they're worried about it. And I thought it would be worth to go and have a word with Kim, who is a herbalist, and she deals with people who have various different complaints. What health-wise can we do to protect ourselves from getting this virus, but also if we have it, what we can do to try and get rid of it as soon as possible and look after ourselves. And then we recorded this in 2 parts. So next week there will be these 2 parts. The idea is very much to try and allay the worries. A lot of people are a bit worried. The media, of course, is making out that it's some bubonic plague, that it's everywhere. It's very much the big headline story. But there's the chances are that most people won't be affected terribly much, and there are ways that you can safeguard yourself, and we speak about that in these videos coming up, so look out for those. Also, I've met up again with Andrew Norris, and he wanted to show me an area where he was brought up as a kid on Telegraph Track near Wallington, which is in Surrey. It's just on the border, I think, between sort of Surrey and Greater London. Now, I don't go into London and do videos. I think there's plenty of people who are doing videos in there. I had Mr. Suggett, Richard Suggett, ring me up and say, hey, what about going into London and doing videos there? I thought, well, I'm really more about the countryside, the landscape, the heritage and the nature away from the large cities. I'm sure there's plenty of people who do those sort of things, so I'm not overly interested in that. But this we were looking at some interesting houses and a little unique piece of landscape which I'm sure you'll be interested in. And also we did another second video which will be coming up next week about the Englishness of some of our music. And Andrew is a composer and he tells me about the various English composers and how they were inspired by a lot of folklore. So this is an area I knew nothing about, and so I was fascinated to discover more about that. So thanks to Andrew for that. Kevin Hall and I have been out. One of the things we want to try and do, and we have been doing, is encouraging you guys to get out there with your phone cameras or small DSLR cameras or whatever it is and shoot bits of heritage landscape and nature and share them on the Bald Explorer Facebook group page, which is a place where we've got this wonderful group of people who are taking photographs and making videos, and or on your own YouTube channel or wherever you like, to record the landscape, heritage and nature before we lose it. It does seem that we are building on lots of landscape, things are falling down, churches don't have the money to repair themselves, so we want to try and capture as much as we possibly can, and part of that video is very much to encourage others and also show you ways that you could do that too. So lots of things to look forward to, but that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to become a patron, support what we do, and we'll keep bringing these videos to you, and we'll get out now that we're slowly creeping towards spring and bring you some more interesting places and so on. So give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you out and about with another week of videos and then back on the Sunday chat. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.